नमस्कार, सभी का स्वागत। वी आर सेलिब्रेटिंग एनजीओ डे, एनजीओ नेसेसिटी टू प्रमोट आयुष। We welcome you all on Independent Research Ethics Society's AYUSH SAMRIDDHI International Webinar Series at the milestone of 2168, World NGO Day 2025. Thank you very much for joining. I welcome Dr. Suparna Sanyal Mukherjee Madam. I welcome Dr. Sakat Kumar Basuji, and without wasting much time, I would like to request Nishant ji for his welcome address.
गुजराती में एक कहावत है, જેટલું અસરકારી એટલું અસરકારી, જેટલું અસરકારી એટલું અસરકારી। तो जो नॉन गवर्नमेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है उनकी रीच हमेशा जो है ये गवर्नमेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से काफी ज्यादा होती है। ये जो अंत के लोग हैं उनके साथ जुड़े हुए होते हैं, उनके डे टू डे प्रॉब्लम्स से वो माहितगार होते हैं और उनकी जरूरतों क्या है, उनके सॉल्यूशंस क्या हो सकते हैं, ये इजीली आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं, उनको एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हैं। उनकी रीच हमेशा जो है ये ज्यादा होती है। इसीलिए शायद ये गुजराती में ये प्रोवर्ब आया है कि जितना जितलू असरकारी एटलू असरकारी। तो ये हमेशा जो है ये इफेक्टिव रहता है। एनजीओ मूवमेंट की हमेशा से जो है ये जरूरत रही है। एनजीओज की एक काफी इम्पोर्टेंट रोल रहा है, खास करके नेचुरल कैलेमिटीज में। जो एक्टिविस्ट हैं, एक अच्छा जो है ये माहौल उत्पन्न करना, कोई ज्ञान की बात हो, कोई कैंपेन इस प्रकार से चलाना हो कि जिससे सोसाइटल डेवलपमेंट अच्छी तरह से हो, तो उसकी एक्सेप्टेंस सबसे ज्यादा अगर एनजीओ करता है तो उसमें आती है। कुछ एक ख्यातनाम एनजीओज भी हैं कि जिन्होंने हमेशा जो है ये अपना काम से राष्ट्र को गौरवान्वित किया है, और उसमें एक जो है ये मुख्य नाम आता है वो है आरएसएस। इसके अलावा भी काफी सारे एनजीओज हमारे यहाँ पर हैं। हम भी एक एनजीओ ही हैं, नॉन गवर्नमेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, और ये कोई भी छुट्टी लिए बगैर और एक सतत जो है ये ज्ञान प्रवाह हम प्रवाहित कर रहे हैं। ज्ञान गंगा के रूप में ये प्रवाह हो रहा है और ये सतत चलता रहेगा, ये विराम लिए बगैर ये चलता रहेगा। तो एनजीओज का क्या रोल है उसको उसको समझने समझाने और किस हद तक इसको हम मूवमेंट को आगे लेकर के जा सकते हैं, इन्हीं विषयों पर आज हमें सकत कुमार बसु जी और सुपन्या सान्याल मुखर्जी से विचार प्राप्त होने वाले हैं। मैं इन दोनों वक्ताओं का अंतःकरण पूर्वक स्वागत करता हूं और उनके शब्दों को सुनने के लिए लालायित हूं। आभार अस्तु।
बहुत बहुत आभार सर, आपका बहुत बहुत आभार। मैं डॉक्टर सुपर्णा सान्याल मुखर्जी मैडम को सादर आमंत्रित करता हूं। आदरणीय डॉक्टर सुपर्णा सान्याल मुखर्जी मैडम।
Thank you. Very good evening to the all dignitaries over here on this AYUSH SAMRIDDHI platform. I convey my best regards and gratitude, and very good evening to this auspicious day, the NGO Day. NGO, the non-government organization, is a different world altogether. We have seen the government organization, semi-government organization, state government organization. So many organizations under the supervision of government is running and pursuing their work in their specific departments oriented. But non-government organization is a very interesting matter that which can help the government with their pursuit of this work. That means the economic sector, then the cultural sector, social development, entrepreneurship, then the education sector. So each and every sector, non-government organization beside the government, they are helping and they are fighting, and they are also doing their work in different aspects as well as the governmental jobs orientation. Then the 2025 is a very interesting point. It should be noted that what is the main theme to observing the NGO Day in 2025? It has been investigated and it has been relied upon that. We have 17 goals we have been decided. The UN also decided the 17 sustainable development goal, of which the very specific goal has been emphasized upon, that is the empowering grassroots movements for a sustainable future. So grassroots level, the NGO used to work, and they can go to the grassroots level where it is not possible by the government to reach to the grassroots level and interior parts of of our rural and urban sectors. So NGO can go and enter into those parts and parcels, and that they can do the work just beside of this government, and to help the government they always work. So empowering the grassroots rebels not only in this one aspect, but there are several aspects. First, I can emphasize upon the education. Second, it is the literacy program. Third, it is the sports program. Fourth, it is the economic pursuit program. Fifth, it is the development of sustainable development. Sixth, it will be the forest and forestry. Then the empowering the women, then empowering the older to support the elderly people. So these all are related with this NGO program, and NGO is highlighting the crucial role of non-government organizations. They are promoting and improving global sustainability. So sustainable development goals are unavoidable at the forefront due to their increasingly important role in exposing the numerous issues facing day by day, and they are encouraging. It is the emergencies regular, it is developing, and it is also needed for us, the people at large. We have to explore this through this NGO program. And Ayush knowledge and Ayush exploration through NGO is another important part and another important world together, which can be explored by this the people at large. So Ayush generally acronym of this the medicinal system that are being practiced in India, especially such as Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, naturopathy, Siddha, and homeopathy. These systems are based on definite medical philosophies and represent a way of healthy living and establish concepts on prevention of diseases and promoting of the health situations. The basic approach of all the systems of health, disease, and the treatment are holistic, because these systems and these are is this resurgence of interest on Ayush systems. Yoga has also become the icon of global health, and many countries have started their the system are integrating pattern of their healthcare delivery with this the yoga system. So yoga is the principal aspects of this Ayurveda, which can develop our day-to-day life activities and enhance the medical senses and potentiality through this NGO practice and programs. So hence we can develop the Indian. It is the heritage of India, because there are so many medicinal plants which is not yet been identified by the several forester or this medicinal persons or the medicine mans. But it is very important that this the folklore, and at the same time it is a medicinal man or the medicinal persons or the doctors, and at the same times the medicine doctor who are the generation was practicing this medicine, they know. And the tribal people, the indigenous people, they know the which medicine is required for what diseases. So it is their natural instinct. It is their generation was concerned. They have been developed and they have learned from their forefathers. So there is no practical senses or the science orientation, or they don't have any science based education. But here the NGO can develop an NGO exploring in ICE system that how we can develop and restore this ideological point of view, because it is a very important science that how they are knowing and how they just pinpointing the medicines which is required for their particular diseases. That's why it is very important that the development of this Ayush along with this NGO. So there are so many projects, there are so many system, and government has this. And now the NGO has been, there is a formerly it was known as the Planning Commission of India. Now it has been transformed the Niti Aayog Darpon. So registration is required for this NGO development program along with national NGO portal. There is also the registration and societies acts, the trust. There are so many systems are there. Along with this CSR, also giving the social responsibility funds is also very requirement for development of the grassroots level. So it is not a single handled work. It is the conjointly effort. We have to explore and we have to develop this NGO program through this the experimental. So it's through from the grassroots level. So this is the motto of this 2025, and we have to explore not only in the other sectors, education, social media, then this the socio-cultural, socio-economic aspects, but it is very important for to develop and enhance in the Ayush platform. And this Ayush needed because we have seen how much we can depending upon Ayush in the modern technology. So this is generating our good health system, and it's develop our life expectancy. That's why Ayush is very important nowadays for developing our world, and it is give you the sustainable and sustainability and develop our sustainable efforts, because we know that we are reaching and we have reached in the 17 sustainable goals that have been earmarked and which has been pointed out, and we have to encourage our next generation, the young generation. At the same time, so we have to explore our day-to-day activities and life. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me such an opportunity. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much. So nice of you. We are also NGO. AYUSH Samriddhi is also independent research ethics society. So we are trying to serve the nation through our webinars. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Now
thank
I
you.
would like to request Dr. Sakat Kumar Vasudi for his blessing. Dr. Sakatji.
Madam Ji has so nicely explained everything that there is very little for me to say now. Illustrated it very, very well. But however, I would like to highlight upon that the way the NGOs have been working, and I have been in Bangladesh, and I saw several NGOs operating there. Like being even a smaller country, I think the NGO setting and the work, particularly at the ground level, they have been way more successful compared to us. For promoting Ayush and any other aspects, the ability to work at the ground level is very, very important. And it is not possible for the government always to reach every now and then, every nook, every village and community and non-government organizations and NGOs which are non-profit. Several of them being non-profit organizations have done massive work like Ramakrishna Mission Institute in our England, Bharat Sevasam Sangha and other institutes have done massive work, and there are other NGOs which has done very good too. But other than this, what happens is, what my personal experience is that NGOs are born and NGOs die. NGO born and die, born and death. This is very common in India. The reason is that in particularly in our country, what happens is there is 1 or 2% who are actively engaged, actively interested in a particular cause, and then they get involved in this and establish an NGO with their team and stuff, and it runs good for the first few years in the sense because the too enthusiastic or that one driving force or enthusiasm that is there is it works out there and the NGO survives well and good. But as soon as that individual moves away, or that particular individual or that focus group for that particular NGO moves away or has passed away or has separated or something like that, whenever the driving force is gone, that NGOs goes down. It is unable to continue with the same force, pace, and enthusiasm in which it needs to work with that vigor. That is gone. So vis-a-vis, if we keep the NGOs in Bangladesh, one of the significant difference between NGOs in India and Bangladesh is that I have seen that most of the NGOs run on a low profit margin in Bangladesh, and it is a good employment agency, particularly in the rural areas where they have extensively been successful in establishing many of the ground level work through the NGOs. I found that in India, most of the NGOs are voluntary work. Like I have extra time, I am passionate about a particular cause, I have collected other people around me, and we have all joined together for a common cause, but it is mostly voluntary. So it depends on your time, your attitude, your aptitude, your availability, and the resources and money and funding that you can personally put there, or you can get and stuff funding from other resource sources. But in there, I have seen that they have a few organization, those at the top of the organization may be voluntary, but the force which is working under that particular tier are employed. I'm not saying that these are very highly paying big jobs, but particularly in the rural areas, even the low paying jobs are a good jobs because people are always looking for opportunities to work in government like settings, and NGOs are a source of great attraction for them. And this is how I think that the NGOs there has been way more successful compared to our country, in the sense that they have been able to generate money, provide funding, and they have employed maybe 10 employees or 15 or 20 or maybe sometimes 5 or 6 or something like that. But because they are employed, they have an interest generated and kept with that, and they continue. And sometimes if someone leaves for a better job, better position, for higher education, anyone, they could find a second worker to replace, as because there is a remuneration behind it. One of the greatest factor that I think that smaller NGOs, medium-sized NGOs that start in India and fail within a few years is this lack of ability to sustain. I have been associated with a number of NGOs. Most of them are small NGOs, and I've seen the most of the small NGOs struggle past few years. One, that top person or that the central person who is to bring funding, who had good connections and network, and who was very passionate about carrying this particular movement, whether it was environmental related work or mental health related work or health or otherwise related work. They have all been successful as long as that particular person has been active. As that particular person moves out or inactive or passed away, the NGOs goes down very, very fast. And there, the life cycle of NGOs in India are very, very short. I have seen some things growing up and then dying within a year, like within few months. There has been in lack of communication, self conflicts, interest, and things like that. One thinking that the others are getting more importance. There are common clashes between various groups within a particular NGOs and stuff, and this has weakened the system because our central administration in these NGOs are extremely weak. Weak in the sense is everyone being voluntary. You could not summon and push someone with a particular duty. But if it was a paid employee, then there is a need for an output. Like, this is the work that has been assigned to you. You are being paid for that. May not be a very high pay, but you are still being paid for that. And this much work is expected of you out of the at the end of this session, at the end of the program and stuff and things like that. And because there is no such incentives down there, only when there is a project that is available, then an Indian NGOs hire one or two people and pay them low, and then they run for a few months. And if they get a better opportunity, they are always running away. So one of the biggest challenges for NGOs operating in India, other than the big ones, I'm talking about the middle and the small ones, is mostly lack of motivation, lack of funding, lack of resources, and the lack of connectivity to the ground level work, particularly because we are constantly looking for employees to filling in. Some is working for 3 months, then that person does not have any more time, or does not have or has lost interest, or he has been transferred to another position and stuff. And that particular thing that you is doing for that particular NGO, then you cannot find a replacement even within that organization. Even if you are trying to hire, you are getting a considerable time to find a replacement, and ultimately the NGO could not operate properly, and it goes, there is a demotion down the year, and after 4, 5, 6 years, or even after 1 year, many NGOs have vanished or vanquished or just become inactive. So this is an important challenge with the running and operation of our NGOs, and there is also a question of credibility with many of them. Sometimes they do not maintain the books properly. There is no proper auditing and accounting done for renewal of your permission, for renewal of your status. You need to get those things done. Many people are either unaware of, or they do not have the relevant people who take the responsibility of getting this paperwork done within the particular time. Unless these things stabilize and the NGO can be sustainable, it becomes, in most of the cases, most smaller NGOs, what happens in India is like personally funded. 1 or 2% who has mainly formed the NGO along with the help of others, they are the one who sometimes pay from their pocket and try and get these things done, whether it is in small dimension of 10 to 20,000 rupees to maybe few lakhs to crores, but it is always an individual effort. Because of this lack of sustainability, one of the biggest challenge for the NGOs is they could not sustain very long. So I sincerely believe that Ayush has very good potential to operate through NGOs. NGOs can be a very important windows for spreading Ayush to many parts of this far and stretched country where they are service poor, particularly with respect to medical treatment and facilities. It is not possible to reach with the proper advanced allopathic medical systems and advantages. But Ayush, which is much cheaper, affordable, and could be easily implemented, it also not getting very well implanted or imprinted in these particular areas because of this lack and the weakness in the structure and function of the NGOs in India. So although there is huge opportunity, huge fields and stuff, I think people who are going into these NGO programs and stuff are mostly going through passion. And some people are involved in money laundering and stuff. Many of them get caught. Many of these NGOs get suspended. Many of them get foreign aids for to be used in different purposes and stuff. The government investigates them and bans them and stuff. These are different issues. But even those that are honest and are trying to do good things, it is only very personal, effort. There is very strong challenge of sustainability for these NGOs. There is a lack of supply of personnel to carry out the work down the few lines, and also there is too much conflicts between the groups, intra and inter conflicts, which has been weakening the NGOs. Sometimes 2 or 3 NGOs could I'm not saying to merge into companies, but they could work together as a common source of fund application or working together on a common project and stuff, because but it is challenging human nature that in India we fail to work together. And I have seen many times that 2 or 3 NGOs who have come close to work on a particular project or collaborate and stuff, again they are getting separated halfway down their work because of difference of opinion, issues, ethics, and other, and particularly corruption among other charges that are involved. So with this great weakness that our NGOs have structurally and functionally in India, I still would say that there is huge opportunity, particularly in remote rural areas, for these NGOs to work on various projects. I do salute many of the NGOs who are working and operating across the country, even under very challenging condition, poor funding, limited resources, and limited personnel. But still, they are still doing a good job, and all their efforts must be greatly appreciated. But at the same time, because of the lack of sustainability process in the things, because they do not get the ability to get funding sometimes from various sources, either government or private, or they are not being able to raise that money from the ground level work that they are doing. So someone may be working on education and awareness of ICE promotion in some areas, but unless it is completely free, many people do not even attend. But for those who are doing it from a private entrepreneurship, if they are not being able to little bit money from the participants, then it becomes very difficult for them to sustain, because small or big, they still have to pay for the constructions and the house and the planet, the office that they are maintaining. If most NGOs operate from someone's personal house because they could not afford a rent of their own, and it is quite okay that if someone is providing them the space, light and electricity and stuff and toilets so that they can operate from there because it's a humanitarian purpose that we are working. But this very non-professional model of charity and working together out of passion has not been able to take this very fast and forward. So this could be another very strong weakness, even if we are trying to establish NGOs that want to work towards Ayush platform, establishing Ayush platform in various areas and regions. There is lack of cooperation, coordination, collaboration among various NGOs at the ground level. There is very much animosity, leg pulling among the various NGOs who are competing for funds under the one particular banner and stuff. But if they could have reduced that competition rather than applying separately, if such NGOs which are working on a common area with a common goal could have easily worked together, forming a federation and then applying for the fund, that's way they are not competing all at the same time for the same funding, but by combining together, they could achieve that bigger funding, which could have helped them. So there is this lack of training, education, and awareness of how to manage NGOs. There are now courses that are coming up in various universities, including NGO, where NGO management, NGO finance, and other related issues are being trained. I think there is a need for this professional training for people getting into these NGOs because they need to know how to operate this. Because if you are operating it from your pocket, there is very little sustainability chances for these NGOs to survive. If they could not survive, how they would be able to cater to the various IOS platforms that needs to be supported by both government as well as non-government organization or NGO activity support. So my suggestion is that it is very important that we have the necessary training, practice, experience of running NGOs before running into them, and making proper surveys, looking into the opportunities, challenges, and doing a SWOT analysis to understand the area that I'm going to work or that platform that I'm going to promote in this particular area. What is the level of the demand? Which locality I am working? What are my possible sources of human resources? What are my possible sources of funding? Without these realistic goals, people who are jumping and initiating NGOs for various projects, including, say, sensitivity, education awareness, or trying to establish health camps through Ayush platform and stuff, it is only happening sporadically. It is not being, we are not being able to hold these consistently because of this lack of our attitude and aptitude, lack of training and experience, and also because we have everything under voluntary scheme, which makes NGO very difficult to run them for a long time. We need to have, there should be a remuneration associated, may not be a huge business, but if there is a financial part associated with the NGOs and people who are working or giving time to that particular NGOs, if they get a little bit of remuneration, and this needs to increase over the time based on the duties and responsibilities that an individual is working, I think the NGO model will work better. This is where I feel that the Bangladesh NGOs which operate, which I have seen while I was in Bangladesh traveling and discussing and interviewing them a lot, I realized that they are more successful because of their own model of long-term sustainability, where employees they are hiring young people, they are getting a salary. But if the NGO is operating in the rural area, then they are hiring rural people, local rural boys and girls to run the NGOs. If it is in the towns and cities, then they are hiring local boys and girls who are associated with the locality and who knows the people, are better connected to that particular of the land. They have the knowledge of the land, of the area and locality. They are being employed. May not be a very good salary, but because of this remuneration thing, they are never short of staff. There is always a replacement whenever one trained person is going away or one experienced person is going away, or the NGO is losing an individual because of poaching by one NGO stealing resource persons from another NGO and things like that. So there are considerable challenges, but at the same time, there are huge opportunities to work in the IRES platform, particularly because this is in huge demand in remote rural areas where it is very difficult to provide modern medical facilities. And IRES platform could be a very, very good sustainable platform for that. But we need to prepare for that. I think our NGOs that are operating are working in haste without proper experience, training, and jumping into areas with only passion, but no long-term and short-term plan. And that's why they are not becoming successful in sustainability. So they are starting and they are stopping within after a very short time, maybe a few years or sometimes even 6 or 8 months of operation and stuff. So these are the important things that we need to consider for NGOs to operate and make AYUSH successful and spreading and dissemination. Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma. Thank you for the opportunity provided.
थैंक यू, थैंक यू। मैं एनजीओ के बारे में अपने एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाहता हूँ। मैं वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हूँ आयुर्वेदिक ड्रग मैन्युफैक्चरर एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिया का। मैं नेशनल एग्जीक्यूटिव हूँ विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद का। और ये तो एसोसिएशन है ही। हर एसोसिएशन में मैंने देखा, यदि आप चंदा लेते हो तो समझ में आती है, विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद फीस लेती है, प्रोग्राम कराती है, फिजिकल प्रोग्राम कराती है, लेकिन चंदा मांगना पड़ता है। चंदा डेफिनेटली मांगना पड़ता है, तभी वो फिजिकल प्रोग्राम हम लोग करा पाते हैं। आयुर्वेदिक ड्रग मैन्युफैक्चरर एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिया 180 मेंबर उसके 800 में से 800 के लगभग मैन्युफैक्चरर थे पहले, अब 200-300 के बीच में है। न तो आते क्यों? क्योंकि ये सब कंपनियों की एसोसिएशन है, एक दूसरे को कॉम्पिटिटर मानते हैं। जब ड्रग कंट्रोल या कोई गवर्नमेंट वाले एक साथ वो कर देते हैं, तब केवल वो रुकते हैं, तब केवल वो रुकते हैं, अदरवाइज एक साथ होने की उम्मीद ही नहीं। विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद एक एम को लेके चल रही है, नेशनल बॉडी हम लोगों ने खड़ी की और वो आज नेशनल है, और उसकी क्या कहते हैं, चंदे से काम चल रहा है। इन सबके एग्जाम्पल देख के कम से कम मैं लगभग 18-20 एसोसिएशन से रिलेटेड हूं। एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कि एनजीओ में एक चेतना होती है, 4-5 आदमी काम के होते हैं और बाकी केवल वहां आके फिजिकल प्रोग्राम की शोभा बढ़ाने वाले हो। ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, लेकिन काम करने वाले वो 3 ही 4 ही होते हैं उस पूरे के पूरे 100-200 में से। तो मैंने ये डिसाइड किया, जब से मैंने ये एनजीओ खोली, और क्यों खोली, क्योंकि मेरे पर्सनल सेंटिमेंट इन्वॉल्व हैं। मेरे पिताजी आयुर्वेद में, माताजी आयुर्वेद में, ग्रैंडफादर आयुर्वेद में। तो जब मुझे ये फील हुआ कि उनकी आत्माएं आके अब कहती हैं आयुर्वेद के लिए कुछ करना है, तो मैंने 15 साल पहले ये एसोसिएशन, सॉरी 10, आज कितने हो गए, 2014, 10 साल पहले, 12 साल रजिस्टर, 10 साल हो गए, ये एसोसिएशन शुरू की। करना क्या? तो पहले मालूम पड़ा कि आयुर्वेद वाले बेचारे कहीं ना कहीं सम्मान का अभाव है। तो मैंने उस समय से अवार्ड देना शुरू किया, चरक सम्मान, सुश्रुत सम्मान, धन्वंतरी सम्मान। सम्मान देने में हम लोगों का कुछ नहीं है। यदि मैं चंदा मांगता किसी से भी, तो एक रिपरकेशन का शिकार होता, क्योंकि मैं इमामी में चूंकि सौभाग्य से हायर पोस्ट पे था, तो मांगने की नहीं, देने की आदत थी। तो मैंने ये डिसाइड किया कि मैं अपनी पॉकेट से एनजीओ चलाऊंगा, किसी से एक पैसा कभी नहीं मांगूंगा, और ना फिजिकल प्रोग्राम की ज्यादा सोचूंगा। हाँ, मेरी जितनी एक हिम्मत है, सीमा है, 1-1.5 लाख रुपए, 2 लाख रुपए साल के मैं एसोसिएशन के फिजिकल प्रोग्राम्स पे खर्च करूं। अभी थोड़े दिनों पहले जोधपुर जाके हमने महर्षि नागार्जुन सम्मान दिया वहां के वाइस चांसलर डॉक्टर प्रजापति जी को। फिर गया मैं हरिद्वार, तो वहां हमने महर्षि आत्रेय सम्मान हमारे बड़े भाई आदरणीय अग्निहोत्री जी को दिया, जो आजकल रूठे हुए हैं हमसे। नो प्रॉब्लम, कई लोग रूठे जिंदगी में, जिसको जो थक जाता है वो रूठ जाता है। मेरा एनजीओ के मामले में ये मांगना है, जो कंटिन्यूअस दौड़ से थक जाता है वो कोई ना कोई बहाना बना के मैराथन से अलग हो जाता है। ये बहुत देखा, 6000 स्पीकर्स का एक्सपीरियंस। तो आज तक न तो मैंने इस एसोसिएशन में किसी से पैसा मांगा अपनी आयुष समृद्धि का, जबकि मैं 12A, एटीजी, तर्पण, सीएसआर सब में रजिस्टर्ड हूं। मैं चाहूं, लेकिन क्या करूं कि मुझे मांगना नहीं आता। ये मेरा दुर्भाग्य है, नहीं तो आज मैं इस पे करोड़ों का बजट इकट्ठा कर सकता था। एक तो इसी में इतना व्यस्त रहता हूं कि मुझे सोचना भी नहीं आता कि मुझे किसी से पैसा लेके ये काम करना है। कई एनजीओ कंसल्टेंट मिले मुझे, अरे सर सीएसआर है, वहां से इतना ले लो, ये पैसा घुमा दो, आप 10% रख लो। अरे मैंने कहा नहीं, मैं जो काम कर पाऊंगा उसके लिए प्रोजेक्ट का पैसा लूंगा, और वो काम करके मैं गवर्नमेंट को या कंपनी को दूंगा। उसके लिए चाहिए टीम। हमेशा याद रखिए, अकेला चना भाड़ नहीं फोड़ सकता। आप लोगों ने जो साथ दिया है वो एक टीम से बढ़ के साथ दिया है, और तभी ये यात्रा इतनी लंबी चलती आ रही है। हम सब लोग निस्वार्थ भाव से जुड़े। कई स्पीकर बोले कि साहब स्पीकर रेमुनरेशन होना चाहिए। मैंने कही भाई क्षमा करना, मैं तो ज्ञान मैं मांगना नहीं आता, लेना नहीं आता, लेकिन एक स्वप्न जरूर है। जब इतने सारे रजिस्ट्रेशन कराए हैं, नीति आयोग का दर्पण नंबर मेरे पे है, सीएसआर नंबर मेरे पे है, 12A80G मेरी है, तो कभी कोई साथी ऐसा मिलेगा ब्रेन वाला जो मेरा सपोर्ट कर पाएगा, तो ये एसोसिएशन के लिए पैसा भी आने लगेगा। जब तक नहीं आया और ना आ रहा है, तो मैंने किसी से प्रयास भी नहीं, टू बी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड। हाँ, लेकिन लीगली में सब कुछ मेंटेन करते हुए आज 10 साल से हमारी इंडिपेंडेंट रिसर्च एथिक्स सोसाइटी एक एथिक्स कमेटी भी खोल चुकी है, प्रोग्राम भी कर चुकी है, हर साल दो चार। तो ये सब हम कर रहे हैं पॉकेट से जितना कर सकते हैं। यदि कोई ब्रिलियंस मुझे सपोर्ट करे, तो आज हम पे सब कुछ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, 12A हो, 80G हो, दर्पण हो, सीएसआर हो, ये सब हम पे रजिस्टर्ड है। लेकिन हम अनफॉर्चुनेट हैं कि न मांगना चाहते थे अभी तक। लेकिन यदि कोई विराट रूप देना है, समझ लीजिए, हम विराट रूप इन द सेंस बोल रहे हैं, फिजिकल प्रोग्राम तो दो चार ही होंगे। हम कोई प्रोजेक्ट गवर्नमेंट का लें अच्छा सा, हेल्थ केयर का, इस डर में नहीं लिया कि मैं कहीं पैसा ले लूंगा, और लेके यदि मैं काम करा के टीम नहीं खड़ी कर पाया, तो वो एक वापस जाने की बेइज्जती होगी। कईयों की देखी, कईयों की देखी, और कईयों का रोलिंग ऐसा देखा कि वो एक पैसा खर्च करते हैं, 4 पैसे के बिल बनाते हैं, गवर्नमेंट के करोड़ों के प्रोजेक्ट लिए जाते हैं। शायद मेरी मानसिकता उस तरह की नहीं थी, इसीलिए जो मैं कर सकता था और कर सकता हूं, समय दे सकता हूं, ब्रिलियंस दे सकता हूं, ब्रेन दे सकता हूं, अपना सर्वस्व दे सकता हूं, लेकिन चूंकि मैं पैसा नहीं मांग सकता, इसलिए मैं विराट प्रोग्राम नहीं कर पा रहा हूं। लेकिन रजिस्टर्ड में सभी में हूं। कभी कोई मेरा साथी यदि इच्छा जाहिर करेगा कि नहीं साहब ये प्रोग्राम करना है, आप पे तो इतना रजिस्ट्रेशन रखा हुआ है, तो निश्चित वो दिन आएगा, उस दिन का इंतजार भी भोलेनाथ करेगा। मैं उस दिन के इंतजार में आज के काम बंद नहीं कर रहा हूं। जो मेरा संकल्प है उन संकल्पों को बंद नहीं कर रहा हूं। कितने साथी थक थक के अलग हो गए, अरे बड़ी लंबी चल रही है, बड़ी इतनी लंबी चल रही, लेकिन लक्ष्मीकांत सर, आप सर, सैकत जी, सुपर्णा जी, आप लोग जैसे भी ब्रिलियंट लोग हैं जो ज्ञान चर्चा में भाग लेने को कंस्ट्रक्टिव और क्रिएटिव मानते हैं। अदरवाइज टीवी की न्यूज सुनना अच्छा मानता है आदमी बनिस्बत ज्ञान चर्चा के। एक मैस्मरिज्म होता है, हर स्पीकर का एक मैस्मरिज्म होता है। मेरी इस वेबिनार सीरीज में 10-20 स्पीकर ऐसे आए जिनकी वेबिनारों में 70-80-90 आदमी हो जाते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि वो स्पीकर कंधे से कंधा मिला के या कोऑर्डिनेटर मेरा साथ देते हैं, और वो सबको ये बुलाने का प्रयास करते हैं। अदरवाइज इन जनरल 99% या 95% में कहूं, तो वो लगभग खुद आते हैं, खुद मुझे ज्ञान का आशीर्वाद देते हैं, लेकिन वो सपोर्ट जो 10 को 20 को इकट्ठा करने का है, वो शायद वो लोग भी नहीं दे पाते। तो इसीलिए मैं आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं, बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि आप जो मुझे दे रहे हैं वो कोई नहीं दे पाएगा, कोई नहीं दे पाएगा। और ये पैसे की तुलना में लाख गुना ऊपर है। नमन करता हूं आपको। आप ज्ञान का जो आशीर्वाद दे रहे हो, उसकी वजह हम आज यहाँ हैं। तो मैं आदरणीय गुरुदेव लक्ष्मीकांत द्विवेदी सर से इस विषय पे आशीर्वाद की प्रार्थना करता हूं। गुरुदेव जग रहे हैं क्या? सभी को गुड नाइट. थैंक यू